Hey y'all, it's Miss A. Hope y'all had a great weekend. Welcome back. We are 2 weeks away from Christmas break, guys. Just 2 little weeks. 10 school days, and then we get 2 weeks off. We can make it. We're almost there. Today we're going to be looking at unit rates. I did want to point out I don't have a copy of these notes available for you on Canvas to print or look at. I'm sorry, I couldn't. There was a big document. I couldn't just share one page with y'all. So please follow along, write down, maybe don't need to write on every little thing, but definitely the examples. All right, so let's get started. So let's talk about what a rate is. A rate is a ratio of two quantities using different units. So we could be comparing miles and hours, or people and classes, or pounds and dollars, whatever it may be. Two completely different units. Units is what it's talking about. The next thing is there are some examples of rates. We use rates a lot, especially as an adult. Speed limit is a rate. How far you can travel, so like 80 miles in 2 hours, that is a rate. My two different quantities are 80 and 2. Quantities are numbers, and then my different units are miles and hours. Here we have 50 students in 2 classes, so again my quantities are 50 and 2. My units are students in classes. They are different. They have to be different units. All right, and then what we're talking about today is a unit rate. A unit rate compares a quantity to 1. So one of your quantities, one of your numbers, has to be the number 1 in order for it to be a unit rate. Unit rates always have a denominator of 1. So you know how we typically write rates or ratios as fractions? The bottom number is what needs to be 1, the denominator. And here are some examples of unit rates. 40 miles in 1 hour. So that's like speed limit. 25 students in 1 class. So again, it's comparing the quantity down to 1. So how many miles you can travel in 1 hour, how many students you can fit in 1 class. All right, next one says to find a unit rate, we're going to write the rate as a fraction, just like we typically always do. That's our go-to, is to write any ratio or rate as a fraction. Then we're going to use division to write an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 1. Basically what we're doing is we're simplifying the fraction down to a denominator of 1. And we can do that simply by just dividing. All right, so here's an example. We've got the rate 90 miles in 2 hours, and we want to come up with the unit rate, which is how many miles we can travel in 1 hour. So to do this, what we could typically do is, we could take the fraction of 90 over 2 and we could divide it or reduce it by that denominator of 2. So divide by 2 over 2. That will get me a denominator of 1. Now all I have to do is 90 divided by 2. Instead of doing all of this though, we simply just divide the 2, because in the end that's all we're doing is taking the 2 numbers and dividing by the denominator. So I'm going to go over here to the side and show my work. 90 divide by 2. Remember guys, I do encourage y'all to use a multiplication chart if you struggle with division or multiplying at all. There's nothing wrong with using it. If you're at home, you can find one you can reference on your computer. If you have a printer, you can print one off. My in-person kids have one in their possession. So we are going to do 90 divided by 2, sorry. So we're going to be looking at our 2 column, which is right here. And then we are just going to, now obviously we're not going to get 90, but we need to take it one number at a time. So how many times does 2 go into 9, which is 4. Remember to use your chart if you need to. You would just go to your 2 column, you would go down till you find 9 without going over, and then you would go to the left to get your answer. So 4. Subtract, we get 1. Then we're going to bring down a 0, or the 0 that's here. 2 goes into 10 5 times, which is 10, and we are done. So my answer is 45 miles in 1 hour. That is my unit rate. So my rate was 90 miles in 2. My unit rate is 45 miles in 1. All right, so here's some more examples. It says write the unit rate for each rate. So here we have 120 miles in 3 hours. So remember, our denominator needs to be 1, and that unit was hours, so we can put hour. And then up here we're going to have miles, and we need to figure out how many miles that is by dividing. So I'm going to do top in, where my numerator goes in, my denominator goes on the outside. I'm dividing by my denominator. I know that 3 can't go into 1, so I'll put a 0. Remember to use your chart if you need to. 3 goes into 12, so I'm looking at 3, looking at 12 without going over, right here. 4, which is exactly 12. So 4 goes here, 12 goes here, the remainder of 0. And I'm not done, because 3 times 4 is not 120. There's a 0 here that I still need to use. So all I really have to do is just bring it up and put it in my answer, because there's no need to bring it down. All right, so now our answer is 40 miles in 1 hour. All right, the next one is 100 pages in 4 hours. So we want to know how many pages are in 1 hour. This could, I guess, typing or writing, I don't know. So again, what we're going to do here is we're going to divide 100 divided by 4. Now, this one, guys, I want you to think about 100 as $1, okay? Think of this as $1, and you're dividing it into 4 coins. If I take $1 and divide it into 4 coins, the only coins that 4 of them equal $1 is a quarter. So each one is 25. That's a little shortcut. You could have divided 100 divided by 4, you still get 25 in the end. But I could see that this was $1. 4 quarters make $1, so I knew if I divide, I would get 25. So 25 pages in 1 hour. All right, the next one is $250 for 5 pairs of shoes. So we want to know how much it's going to cost for 1 pair of shoes. Remember, our denominator has to be 1 in order for it to be a unit rate. All right, so I'm going to do 250 divide by 5. 250 divide by 5. I know that 5 can't go into 2, but 5 can go into 25, 5 times. It's exactly 25 with a remainder of 0. I could bring this 0 down if I wanted to. 5 cannot go into 0, so we put a 0 up here, or I simply could have just brought it up and put it in my answer. So $50 for 1 pair of shoes. $50 for 1 pair of shoes. All right, the last one, if y'all want to go ahead and pause the video and do this one on your own and see if you get the answer correct. And then when you're done, unpause the video and we'll see if you got it correct. So on this one, we want to determine how many vacations we're going to take in 1 year. It must be nice to take multiple vacations in 1 year. We're lucky if we get one. All right, so my denominator is 1 year, and we want to see how many vacations we're going to take in a year. So we're going to take the 6, divide by 3, and then 3 goes into 6 2 times with the remainder of 0. So it's 2 vacations in 1 year. And that's it, guys. Unit rate is just determining what the comparison is to the quantity of 1. Remember, your denominator has to be 1. So your first step is to always write it as a fraction if it's not given to you as a fraction. In this case, they all were. If it's not given to you as a fraction, remember the first piece should go first as your numerator. The second piece should be as your denominator. And then once you have that, you're going to divide to get your unit rate. If you have any questions over anything, please don't hesitate to ask. Y'all know I'm available on Zoom or in an email in Canvas. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.